So hi, my name is Sridhar Rangayan. I'm the Festival Director of Kashish Mumbai International Queer Film Festival, which is having its 12th edition right now. And we are the third weekend of the film festival. And you must have already seen hundreds of films over the last 2 weekends. And you must have already seen this wonderful film, Versus, directed by Ralston Gonzalez's JOVER, which is a Philippine film. And it's like in competition for the best narrative feature length competition. And we basically are going to be in conversation with the director himself and the producer, Arturo CRUZ. And hosting the Q&A is none other than ABHINA AHER, proud trans woman from India, working as technical expert on key population under Sunshine Project with iTech India. She's board member of International Planned Parenthood Federation, vice chair on International Trans Reference Group, health champion of the Global Fund Advocacy Network, and founder member of Transgender Welfare, Equality and Empowerment Trust. Wow. She was awarded the Rex Fellowship Award in 2014 and Global Innovator Award from Human Rights Campaign. And she's been a supporter of Kashish. She was one of the earliest people who started working with Kashish. She has been on the preview team. So thank you, Abhinav, for joining to host this Q&A. And nobody understands the transgender issues better than you. So who else to do this Q&A? So over to you, Abhinav.
Thank you for this wonderful introduction, Sridhar ji, and it has been my privilege to be associated with Kashish Film Festival. I think Kashish Film Festival has been mother of all the LGBTI film festivals in India, and I think they have done a tremendous work, especially in taking the media movement towards the LGBTI issues and breaking away from the caricatures that were presented in the Bollywood industry. So I must congratulate you for that. Having said that, what a fantastic film. It was such a joyous watching this film. I'm filled with emotions as a trans person. It was such an amazing film for me to connect with various issues of the trans people that have been facing. So congratulations to you. It's a fantastic film, and more power to you. So my first question is to the producer, Arturo. Many times when we talk about the subjects like this, which talks about the transgender people, we don't find very sensitive producers who come forward and, produce films like that. What made you decided to go for it and to give support to this film?
Well, it's kind of a personal thing. My eldest son is revealed that he is gay, and I don't have anything against that. My wife was shocked, and because he was trying to explain to us what was the transformation is, I decided to why not make a film out of it. So basically, it's personal. And the issue during the 70s was the women's liberation. And right now, I believe that the current issue is about LGBTQI+. And that's where I would like to come in as to bring awareness to the people about these very important issues so that, there could be rectification of the injustices and reconciliation to accept the LGBTQI+ issue. That's basically my intention. It's a bit personal, and I think it's in the midst of the socio-political religion issues as well. So just to bring up awareness to the community and to the international platform.
Fantastic. Both thumbs up for you, Mr. CRUZ. What an amazing support that you've shown to your son and also to this film. We really appreciate you. Let me come back to Mr. JOVER. When you decided to direct this film is about very complex issues of a life of a transgender person transition. When you were preparing for this subject, Mr. Raslan, what preparation went into this story?
There was a previous project that I was doing for another director who tackled an episode of this transgender who's afraid to come home to the Philippines from Thailand because he had his operation in Thailand. And then I interviewed him for one afternoon, for almost 8 hours of straight interview. And I and I really want to understand. I really want to understand what's going on in their mind, why they prefer or they want to go through this very dangerous operation of transitioning, not just physically, emotionally, and everything, socially, the adjustment that he wanted for. So after the interview and after they wrote the script for this for another director, I realized this is a whole new perspective for me as I look on the human side of this sector. It's different. It's not just about having or wanting to be a woman or wanting to be in another place or another time. It's not even about acceptance. It's about this is me, this is us. You have to understand us, you have to take us. So from then, when I found out that art was producing this kind of story, I already told my local producer who's connected with him that I really wanted to do this project and do more research. So I did more research. When I found out this good story about a father who transitioned to be a woman that has a problem with his children, I found out this is really different because there's layers of social issues that he has to undergo and he has to overcome and win. So it took me almost a year before I wrote the script. And I have to thank Art for waiting for me to really study hard before I wrote the script.
Fantastic. Thank you. First of all, I think it looks like that. It looks like you've really got into the skin of the character. It talks about migration. It talks about individual transitioning. It talks about marriage. It talks about children. It talks about the legal battles. So I'm, congratulations to both of you getting so many topics together. It is like, a basket of topics together dealt with it. So having said that, I want to ask both of you a very important question. One is that, like, every film has a journey. Like when you say every film has a journey, it goes from somewhere. Like as a director, as a producer, you have a vision for the film. That film should travel from this to this. It should reach to the audience. It should reach to the awards. It should reach to, like, what is the vision for this film? Where do you want to take this film? What is your perspective about this film? What is your expectation?
Well, there are some people who ask me initially, why did I do this film? And I told them, why not? Because LGBTQ is not really in the states of being commercial. That it's let's put it this way. It's not profitable, but my intention is actually to bring this issue in international platform. I'm glad that you that you noticed that the film tackles so many issues beside LGBTQ, and that we also intended to incorporate the issue of climate change, but because of some restriction and not to create too much confusion, we decided to just focus on the LGBTQ and the migrant issue and the family issue. By joining this international film festival like the Kashish, we will bring awareness to this very important issue. So that's basically my journey. It's not about commercial anymore. It's just about promoting or bringing this on advocacy, that those injustices that they feel can bring out to the open in international platforms. So maybe those policymakers or those people who are writing about this thing, about the injustices, can include these issues about bringing the equality of the LGBTQ.
For you, Larson, what is the journey that you anticipate as a director?
When I started discussing the film already after the script with my producers, I was really projecting that we'll be going through festivals like Kashish as to promote a Filipino film about LGBT and get reactions, whatever reactions that is positive or negative, corrections on the biases or what's incorrect, or realizations on the storytelling based on the culture of the Filipinos. And beyond that, I want to reach the different LGBT communities on how they could use the film as a tool to push forward the advocacies or the battle cries that they want uh, to propagate or to promote. The film is open for any use, and I hope I do justice with the story.
Fantastic. That brings me to ask a very personal question. I'm a little hesitant about asking this question, but I'm going to ask you this question. Within countries like India, when we talk about the transgender community, people who include me and millions of trans people, many times they say that they don't get an opportunity in filmmaking process. I've been talking to several directors, and a lot of them say that they work on a very stringent timeline. Sometimes they don't get the trained actors. Sometimes they don't look for it. Sometimes they feel. So what I'm trying to say to you is that I don't know whether the actor who acted as a trans person in this film is from the transgender community or from the LGBT community. I presume that probably that person would have studied or must be from the that particular industry. But did you try to get a trans living person as a transgender to act in this film?
There's actually a trans person actress in our film that actually played the role of the sister of the lead actress. So if that's your question, if we're accepting trans people or gay in the film, yes, we are actually open in accepting the film.
Yeah. I didn't know that you have, because she didn't look like a trans person. So, kudos to you for giving her the mainstream role of her sister. And, as a trans person, I didn't recognize her that as she was a trans person. So congratulations. But what I'm trying to say, the lead character of the person who played a trans person, do you look for a trans person to play that role, or was it a conscious decision to take an actor who will be able to show both the sides of pre-transition and post-transition?
Well, firstly, the lead actor is not a trans person or a gay person. He's straight. She usually, Gabby Eigenman is his name. Gabby usually plays gay roles in television and the movies. So he wasn't our first choice. We had auditions, and they were transgenders who auditioned for the roles. But in the end, I was looking for that father personality, because most of the ones who auditions, they were single men or single transgender. So I needed that element, that a person who has a context of being a parent. But we got the supporting actress, Catalea Suyos. She's a transgender, and we casted her not based on her gender, but on her acting capacities. So we really avoided being discriminatory or being biased with the roles.
Actually, that's right. Abhina, if I may tell you the real the real score about this one, this trans person is actually our first choice at the beginning to play the role of this of Leo. But the problem we have with the trans person is we have to show to the audience how he transformed from being from a man to a woman. But because Catalea is already a woman, we have a problem showing the and prosthetics is very very expensive, so we just asked Catalea to play supporting role, and we took somebody who's normally playing the gay role and transitioning to a woman. It's quite easier than than Catalea, and that's the real score about that one.
Fantastic. I think that's a great. I also was thinking on the similar lines. But thank you so much. I learned that you have already one trans character who's playing a mainstream character. So congratulations to both of you as a director and as a producer. And I love what you said about it, that you did not choose her based on the gender, but you chose
Yeah,
her based on the ability to act on that role. So more
definitely.
power to both of you. So the other question that was coming into my mind, especially for Ralston, for you, there is a phase when the lead character Leo says that I transitioned because I did not want it to be called as a bakla.
Yes.
There's a huge confusion about being homosexual and being transgender person.
Oh,
Sexuality and gender are not the same. They are on the parallel lines. I hope the mainstream people who are going to see this film should not get confusion about between sexuality and gender.
mm.
What do you have to say about it?
Usually when I write my script, I always listen to my reference or the subject matter that I'm talking about to be accurate about it. I want to capture the psyche of the character, how he thinks, how he talks, how he moves, what are his nuances. So I just go along with the reasoning of Leo. Because his context, he used to be a man who falls in love with a woman. So that bias with him, he verbalizes it at a point that he's anxious of being branded as gay or bakla. But afterwards, when he finally decides to transition, there's no longer the fear. So from one point to the next point of transition, that that strength in him, I have to verbalize it that he's no longer afraid, not even with his wife's uh, complaints or any threats. Nothing will differ from his thoughts from then on. He's even willing to give up. He's willing to give up his fatherhood, but he's willing to fight for it. He's willing to fight for it. So I always make it a point that I don't play bias with my characters. That's why I do extensive interviews. I really have to do interviews to understand my characters.
Thank you. That was a very appropriate question. The second thing I wanted to ask both of you, what were the challenges you faced as a producer and as a director and as a writer?
Well, for me, the challenge is this is not that thing that I used to do. I'm actually an engineer who happens to be in academics now, and I don't know anything about filmmaking. So probably I'm in the point in my life that I have to try something that that excites me. Well, filmmaking or media has been the passion, so probably I'm just pursuing my interest in filmmaking. So even the biggest challenge is it's not as profitable as what I used to do. It's not anymore, but it's no longer that. I love doing it. I like to do it again. And after this pandemic, we can have some time again to be together and brainstorm to another project that we can do. So the biggest challenge for me is how to make it as a livelihood, because it's quite time consuming to do a filmmaking. It's I I used to be in the construction when people are very laid back, but when you do the filmmaking, I'm really amazed about how people move just because of their passion and the love of doing it, and it quite fascinates me.
Besides being engineer, you have a great career. You should pursue this as a producer. Getting this film on board is a huge challenge. If you have successfully done that, I think you have a huge career, my friend. You should keep doing these things again and again. I'm sure you must have had a huge joy. I can see it on your face. But sometimes, producers
Thanks.
are always after the films. They're, oh my God, I've made this film. My money is gone, my hard money is gone. But you're like cheering up, you're happy, and that makes a lot of difference. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, Raslon, for you, what were the challenges that you face?
Well, firstly, I would like to talk about dealing with the first-time producers. First-time producers is always a blessing because it's a breath of fresh air when you have new people coming in the industry and understanding the passion and the hard work that you're doing and the creative process that you're getting into. And then you start to work with the script, with the production. The main problem is the casting, the scheduling of the actors. It's really crazy because most of them are doing TV soap operas or other movies. And then Art mentioned a while ago, we were supposed to tackle a climate change issue because we did shoot in his hometown, Art's hometown here in the Philippines that used to have flood almost all year round. So I wanted that milieu of flooding while the story of the LGBTQ is going on. But the problem is that by the time we were shooting, there's no more flood. It dried up. I think it was summertime. So
Yeah.
I was really frustrated. Art, can we do something? Can we have this flooding? No, we don't have any budget for the floods. So you really have to sacrifice certain issues that you want to tackle. So I go, okay. It would have been a good metaphor. And then I have to deal with my other producer, who's also a writer, who discusses this character flesh out. We're already shooting and you wanted us to flesh out this character. Yes, you have to be correct. Otherwise, the audience, especially the LGBT, will be questioning, okay, just flesh out the characters. And then everybody became active. The actors, the staff, they were already suggesting to me, Direct, you have to correct this, you have to correct that. So in a way, it's kind of difficult, but it's enjoyable. Lastly, the logistics, the timing. I have limited days only to shoot, and I wanted to shoot a lot of footage. You know, your dream shots, your dream setup. You want time. You have to take care of the, but you don't have time. You don't have time with independent. That's my biggest frustration. At the same time, it's my biggest fulfillment once you pull it off and you succeed. So it's part of the game, I guess.
Fantastic. I can understand that the whole Filipino must be happy that there's no flood, and you must be frustrated why there is no flood. I need the shots in the flood. Where is the damn water? I need the water.
I was already thinking
I
of
can
special
understand.
effects. I was thinking of special effects or how much it would cost to have. It's so expensive. I really have to give it up.
So I'm not going to
Mm.
reveal the story, but there is this last scene of the film.
Mm.
The last scene of the film that shook me. Where the Leo makes the last call.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about what she says, but I'm just going to say that. Do you think that gave a little negative character? That come what may, I will claim my rights. Come what may, I will do whatever that can possible to make. You made that character so real. I thought that till that time the character was holier than thou, and at that last call, you made that character so real for fighting for her own rights. What do you have to say about it?
I think it was part of the fiction that I wrote about the character. Leo or Leia is not a goody-goody person, especially at the end when he does something bad for against his ex-wife. And I guess it's kind of poetic justice on his part that he got so aggrieved losing his children that finally I will get this justice just to redeem myself, as a person. And this last shock that you watch is another phenomenon in the Filipino culture, the diaspora culture. Because most Filipinos, they stay abroad, they stay illegal, and then they work, and then come what may, uh, whatever happens, they won't go home because they have to work and they have to earn better. And most Filipinos, they report their co-Filipinos to the authorities. So I use that another social issue to accentuate the character's journey. This is Leia's vindication at the end. It's no longer about her gender. It's no longer about her fight or having a family. It's about her, a person.
But as a human being, what do you feel about the transgender civil rights? Both of you, especially Arturo, who also is a parent of LGBT person. Like in countries like India, also we have got our acknowledgement as a transgender person, but we are far away from getting our civil rights to inherit the property, to adopt a child, to take a custody of a child, or whatever it be. What do you have to say about it? So if this film goes to a political situation, if this film goes to the political uh, hands of the people who are making policies,
Yeah.
what changes that you anticipate?
First of all, we have to admit that this gay rights or gay liberation or revolution for me, it's still a struggle. I want to put it on the proper discussion or debate. So in order for them to make an amendment to the existing policy so that the equality can be achieved at the end.
So, and my last question to you is that if one message that we want to give it through this film to our audience, what is the mindset that you want them to watch this film? Because this film, for me, it is very special right now. It has become a very special film to my, there are some films that you watch and you forget, and there are some films that you keep contemplating about. I would keep this film into the second category, that you walk out of the cinema hall, or you walk out of the screening theater, or you walk out, you still close your computer and you will keep thinking about this film. So, what is the message that you want to give?
Well, for me as a director, I want to reach more trans people to celebrate this film. Not because of the liberation or the transition or the whatever causes that they want, but to promote the kind of humanity that we're trying to present in the film. That if everything can be treated normal without even discussing about it, without even engaging homosexual issues on issues like family, love, unconditional children, caring for children. It has to be a universal responsibility for all of us. It should not have been an LGBTQ film, not because of the character, but we should look forward to a better place where we can be good human beings to each other.
The message that I want for this film to come out is similar to civil rights, similar to women's rights, similar to migrants' rights. It evolves towards the acceptance at the end. So what I really want the message to have for this film is, yes, we're struggling right now. The LGBTQ is experiencing some discrimination, but eventually, little by little, by promoting this type of film, it will elevate this issue to a higher level of discussion and eventually acceptance. That's probably my foresight and my message for this type of film.
Thank you. That is very well said, both of you. It's been an honor to meet you through this platform. It's been an honor to see your film. It's been an honor to celebrate this film with Kashish. I have been, seen the film, enjoyed the film, still relishing the film, still thinking about it. Thank you so much to Sridhar ji and everybody who made this possible. And I just want to, at the end, request Ralston, you and or through you, please make more films. We still don't have enough filmmakers who are sensitive to the LGBTI issues, especially trans issues, who handle it in a very non-subjective and unbiased way. And all the love from India. And I hope we see more and more films from your side in future as well. And I get to talk to you more and meet you in person. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Thanks a lot, Abhinav, for this wonderful conversation which you hosted and such pertinent questions, because you understand the film so beautifully, because you're from the community, you're experiencing these issues, and the issues are brought out so beautifully in the film Versus. The film Versus is in competition, so I hope it wins the award for the best narrative, and also it's in competition for the best screenplay and also best performance in a lead role. So there are three particular streams which are film is eligible for. And thank you, Arturo, for basically joining the conversation. Your insights are fantastic, and wish you best of luck with fighting for equal rights. And thank you, Ralston, for making this beautiful film. And I hope you continue to make more beautiful films for sure. Thanks a lot. And please join us at the award ceremony on September 5th. And if you have any questions for Arturo or Ralston, please put your questions here in the comment box, and I'll make sure that they see that and answer you. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining this conversation.